So today we're going to show you essentially once you receive your Vero Motion kit, whether it's the Champion system or the 60UF system, the Legend, what should you do? So there's a basic test that I like to do before I even go ahead and mount anything onto the system. And then what we'll do is we'll show you the setup process in SimHub. First thing I'm going to do is just connect everything to my computer. In this case, I'll be using my laptop to connect it all to SimHub and make sure that all the components are working. I'm going to take the USB cable and then I'm going to put that into the controller. I'm going to take my emergency stop and same thing into the controller. I'm going to take my power cord. And then in terms of the controller itself, you may have received a version 1, which is a different connection. This is the newer connection. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you one actuator. So power connection only goes in one way, and then I'm going to thread that in. For the next one, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Same thing, you want to see that one end is longer than the other. So that only goes in one way. So this is our data cable. I will move the controller to the side and then connect the rest of my actuators. And I will connect this to my laptop with the USB cable and then plug power, and then I'll show you the next step in SimHub. What you want to do is you want to ensure that you're going to install SimHub. Now we already have the latest version installed, so I'm going to go ahead and open that. Now I want to go to add remove features here on the left, and I want to enable motion. So what that does is it will add a motion here on your left because initially it won't be there. Double click this, let's test it. Platform configuration. Now I want to do add, remove, or change parts. This is where if you start off with a 3DOF system, you want to add the platform later or a tensioner, you would just come here and keep adding the features. So add and remove, browse pre-configured platforms. I'm going to scroll down and then you will see our Vero systems. In this case, I've got the 4-inch or 100mm Champion GT. So I will open up Champion GT and click OK. Continue with this platform. Yes. And then it's going to be the COM10 controller USB serial device. OK. So now that I've done this, I still want to go back in and revisit my settings. So by default, it's set to 950mm in length. So this is L1, so front actuators to rear actuators. So that's the measurement of the 60UF system that we recommend. So if ever later on you're going to add this to the platform, then you want your actuators to be at that distance. Also, if you're going to be using our profiles that we share on the Discord channel, they're set to that distance. So if you decide to put your actuators further apart or closer apart, then things might not feel 100% right. So we definitely recommend you setting this to 950mm. The width L2 can change depending on the cockpit that you're going to be bolting this on. In this case, we're mounting it to an ASR 4 chassis, which is where this measurement comes in. If this is off by a little bit, it's not the end of the world, but it's something that you definitely want to take the measurement once the actuators are going to be on your system, and then you can change that. So actuator size, so 100mm, 4 inches is the stroke of the Champion GT, so that's correct. Now there's another important one that we want to check, and this one is a big one. So you want to ensure that the speed is set to 250mm per second. It is here by default because I chosen the Champion GT, but if I later add another device, sometimes it can create a bug where this will go back to the default settings for SimHub, which are 500mm per second. So it's a good advice for you that anytime you make changes to your platform, that you revisit these settings to ensure that everything stays the same. Same thing for the distance measurements of the actuators. But in this case, I've got my correct distances, I've got my correct stroke, and I have my correct speed. The other ones that you want to keep in mind are the distance for the seat height and the actuator distance front to essentially where you're sitting. Now this is something by default, it's here. This is usually within the window. It's okay if these are not the settings that you're going to have, but you can revisit this once you actually mount them to your system, or if you've already done so, then you can enter this information more accurately. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. The next thing that you'll want to do, and you'll want to do this once the actuators are onto your system, but I'm going to show you the steps. You want to go to Edit Axis Assignment. So this is going to be ID1, ID2, ID3, and ID4. So when I plug this into the controller, looking at the front of the controller, starting from left, going to right is ID1, ID2, ID3, and then ID4 is on the right hand. If you don't plug them in that order, that is okay, as long as in SimHub here, I change that order. So how it's supposed to go, it's rear left, then the front left, front right, and rear right. So if we start from the rear left going clockwise, that is the rotation that we're assigning this. So I'm going to go test all platform axis. And then what I'm going to do is under ID1, ID2, and ID3, and ID4, I'm going to move them one at a time. So ID1, I'm going to make it longer, so it should be this actuator here. I'm going to move to ID2, move ID3, and ID4. Excellent. Awesome. So now SimHub is connected to the actuators in the right order with the right settings. The next thing that I want to do is I want to go to our Discord page to grab the latest profile. At this point, SimHub cannot pre-configure the profile that matches the actuators. We are working on that, but until that happens, you're going to have to go to our Discord channel. So once you're in Discord, you're going to go to Hardware Profiles, and then you can select what matches what you have. But in this case, we're going to go to the newest 3DOF profile. We're going to click Download. Great. Going to go back into SimHub, Profile Manager, Import Profile, Downloads. Here's the profile. Open. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that when I'm going to play my games, I'm going to be under the right profile, and I don't recommend driving on the SimHub default profile, and you don't want to have SimHub go back to that profile, so just delete it. Now here, once you have more and more profiles, if you end up tweaking your profiles to play different games, what I recommend is you just go clone. So this will create a copy of it, and then I can call this, I'm going to call it LMU, and then I can tell it that this is for Le Mans Ultimate. Find it here. Here I can actually. Le Mans Ultimate. And now if I save this way, automatically now when I'm going to go and play Le Mans Ultimate, it's going to load this profile. So this is the way that you can have different profiles and be recognized and load automatically. So I'm going to go back to the default profile for any game. And now everything is set. Now on purpose, we have this at 90%. So everything to us working the way it should be is at 90. But in the case you have, guests you want to give a bigger thrill, or if you are one that wants to move a little bit more, then we've left that overhead hint. Aptics is at 100. So essentially at this point, you'd be ready to load your game and start driving. What I'm going to show you is, and this is something I recommend, before you go on to, bolt this all up to your system and hide all of your cables, is to make sure that everything works well. Now again, we are human, stuff can happen at the factory, stuff can get damaged while it's in shipping. So it's not impossible that something might arrive and it's not working how it should be. So the way you do this, I'm going to enable my motion. I'm going to wait for the connected, manual control. I'm going to go to automated test cycles, which is right here. And then I'm going to enable roll, pitch, heave pulse, which essentially is your aptics. And then I'm going to make sure everything is on simultaneous, because I want it to be moving as if the sim's doing multiple things at once. And then in order for it to break the cycle so it will never go back to the same position, which is a bigger simulation to reality, is I can increase some range on some effects, decrease some range on other effects. I'm going to change the duration of the cycles. Like so. I'm going to bring this down a bit too. And then pulse height, that's fine, that's fine. All right, and then just hit start automatic cycle. I've just removed the heave pulse, guys, just because I didn't want to see that knocking. I saw it was being activated, just so I get a smoother performance now. I just turn that off, but I could easily just turn that back on. This is something that you can have running for as little as long as you want. Obviously, the longer you're going to run this test, the more that you're kind of ensuring that everything is working as it should be. I've done this test enough to know that based on everything I'm seeing, all the actuators are behaving the same way, everything is smooth. So essentially I can stop my cycle. So now I can go ahead and install this on my simulator. The other thing that you can do once this is mounted to your simulator, if you want to check, for example, your monitor clearance, is you can simulate all of the effects of the motion. So I can heave, this would be raising the entire system. As you can see, all the actuators are going up. I think I can reduce. I can roll to the left, roll to the right. I can also pitch forward and pitch back. So this is kind of a way to ensure that under maximum movements, what's the closest that the simulator can get to your monitors, and this way you can bring the monitors as close as possible to get the best field of view. So that's it, guys. Essentially, this is the SimHub portion in general to set things up. I have the default profile, the newest one that we've offered. We've ensured that everything is working accordingly. We've even run it through a test to make sure that everything was, and it is. It's just a matter of following the installation tutorial that we have on YouTube, which we'll have the link below, so that you can actually mount this into your system. All right, guys, so that concludes the connection and setup instructions to make your motion system work, and also the tests that we recommend that you do before installing the actuators on. You can click on the links below to first off find the installation video, so how to mount this to your cockpit. Then we also have a video to tuning. So once you've loaded the default profile and you want to start playing with the settings yourselves on how we recommend to use SimHub to get the best performance from your system, and also the link to our Discord where you can find the latest profiles. Thank you guys for tuning in and letting us know what your questions are. And always know that if you do have questions as you're installing Vero products, don't be a stranger and contact us, because we are there to respond right away to ensure you're going to get the maximum enjoyment out of your system.